Okay, guys, good morning for me here in San Diego, California. And yeah, for you guys is late, is not late, but is evening, a Saturday evening, right? So yeah, let me know what time is in your country now and where are you located? Let me know here in the chat, okay? So we can know each other. Yeah. More people joining here. I'm very excited to talk about SQL today. Yeah, I love SQL. Actually, is the part that I like most in not BI but database in general is the SQL part. Yeah, we can do many nice things and actually awesome things in SQL. And then we can save time, we can have better performance when we know how to use SQL. And in some projects you have to know SQL. No? So, okay, let's see. In India now is 9:35 p.m. Yeah, nice. That joke that I always do. You guys already know some things that I don't. So, okay. Let me start with a question. What is your experience in SQL? You can type here 1 for beginner, 2 for intermediate, and 3 for expert or advanced. Okay, this is very important so I can level up or down here the content that I have to you guys. 3, oh, nice. The first one is advanced. That's good. Intermediate, great. Intermediate, advanced. What else? Okay. What we can do here, let me start talking to you guys, explaining to you the database that we are going to use. So let me see one thing here. Pin. Okay. Nice. I'm going to explain to you guys the how to use SQL. We are going to use SQL Server, okay, Microsoft SQL Server, and we will use AdventureWorks database. Oh, I have to admit people here. Sorry. We'll use AdventureWorks 2019 database. Probably you guys already know. If you work with SQL Server, you already know this database. But let me start sharing my screen. So the idea today, guys, is to explain a little bit about this data model, a little bit about SQL, then go to Power BI and use Power BI and connect Power BI into SQL Server, and then open for questions. We can discuss about using Power BI and SQL Server. Okay, let's see what we have here. Where is my screen? Share screen. Let me close this. I'm gonna share my screen number 2. Great. Can you guys see my screen? I wanna show you my SQL Server. Okay, where is the chat? Chat is here. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Okay, guys, what we have here is our let me start one thing here. This is important. Downloads. Zoom 8, Zoom 8. Okay, so what we have here is our AdventureWorks 2019 database. Can you guys see my screen? Just confirm it, please. Let's see in the chat here if you guys can see my screen. Supposedly you are. Okay. So what do we have here? We have a complete sample database. This is an example from Microsoft. And you guys can see here we have human resources tables, we have person tables, we have production, and we have purchasing, sales, yeah, and sales. Okay, so the idea here is not to go through the whole database, but just use some examples. And what I like to do here is something like that. We have our database. Inside our database, we have all of the tables, as we just saw here: human resource, sales, purchase, and so on. And what I like to do is to create another layer only for Power BI, not only Power BI, but BI. You know? So is our data warehouse. What we should do? We should have, let me see if I can draw here on the screen. Yeah, so what we have here, we have our data, oops, we have the database here, our database, and we have some parts inside the database flow: human resources, sales, production. And what we should do in a real world scenario is to create another database here that is our data warehouse. Okay, this is our, where is my mouse? I just lost the mouse. This is our transactions, or our ERP. Okay, and what I like to do is to create another database different from this one, that is our data warehouse, and we have here the connections. The data come from the ERP to our data warehouse. Okay, so sometimes it's not possible to do this, but we try to work our BI data in a different database. Okay. What we are going to do today, we don't have this structure. The idea is not to show you this structure. The idea here is a session about SQL, is not about data warehouse architecture. But what I'm gonna show you guys is this. We have our database, we have our ERP here, and we will create our data warehouse here inside the same database. Okay, so what we have here, we are going to use our sales information, product information. So we'll create these statements. And guys, let me ask you this: do you know how to create views inside SQL Server? Because the idea here is not to provide the tables, but to provide some views that are already prepared for BI purposes. Okay, so what I'm going to show you here is we have a table in sales. We have a table that is sales order header and sales order. So we have our sales order header where we have customer information, we have total values information, we have billing address information, order information, and we have the order details where we have the items, the products. Okay, so it works like this. We have to pull data from the database, if you guys don't know yet, we use the command called select, and the columns, select columns from our tables or views, where we have, and then we have our conditions. Okay, this is the select command structure. So what we are going to do here, select all of the columns from a table. We use star from sales order header. Okay, what do we have here? We have the schema name and the table name. When I execute this, let's execute, we have all of the information from our sales header. Okay, guys. But we have the sales order header, and we need the items, okay? Because I want to identify the sales by product, and we don't have products here in the header. We have only the totals. We have the sum of all of the products. So what we are going to do here is select star from order sale detail. Let's mark this one, execute. You can see here we have products. Okay, we have unit prices. We have other information different from the first one. Let me close this one. Okay. But do we need, let me know here in the chat, guys, do you think we need all of this information in our data warehouse, in our BI database, like tracking number, let's see what else, row ID, modify date? Do you guys think we need all of this information in our data warehouse? Probably not. Okay, so what we are going to do here, we are going to prepare the data using SQL to be used by our BI application. Okay, guys, I can see you are so quiet here in the chat. Come on, let's participate. Help me to make this session the best one until now. So let's see. Okay, are you guys enjoying? Oh, yeah, I already have answers here. Perfect. Nice. So if you are following me, let's try this one. I have, I want to create a structure of orders and the items, okay, in form of a view, so we can use it in Power BI. Perfect. Let's do this. We already learned how to create views, sorry, how to pull data from the database. And now I'm gonna use not all of the columns from a table, but only the columns that are very important for us. Okay, so let me tell you this. I already have some information. So, for example, from sales order header, what is important here? We have sales order header. You can see here a list of columns. We have all of these columns. And what is interesting for us here is, for example, we have, let's do sales order ID. This is important, okay? And then, comma, our second column will be order dates. Order date, and what else? Due date, ship date, status, online, account number. What else? Salesperson. We are not talking about customer here, okay? But yeah, no, we can bring it. It's not a problem. Salesperson ID. We can use it in the future. Oh no, this is the salesperson. We want the customer ID. Yeah, salesperson is good. Okay, salesperson. And yeah, we don't need subtotal. We don't need total due. No, we are good. Okay, so we have all of this information from sales order header. Let's try it, execute. Sales order ID, order date, customer ID, salesperson. Perfect. Okay. But we need to join, we need to bring at the same time, not only the order header, but we need the products, right? So what we can do here, we can now we are going to join two different tables, okay? For each one of the order header that we have, we are going to list or to pull all of the items, all of the products, okay? Where are the products? They are in at first, we are going to use the join function. Okay, we'll join two different tables. We have many different types of joins. We have full join, left join, cross join. We are going to use only the join. We use it more often than the other ones. And what do we want here? We want order detail, right? So drag and drop, order detail. But now we have to identify, it's not that we need, but it's easier for us if we identify with some alias. So we don't have to type all of this every time we are going to use order header. So here we can use an alias called ord, and this one can be det from details, okay? And then when we are joining, we are using to join to the different tables. I have to tell SQL Server what is the condition, okay? So it means that when we want to join using the sales order ID, okay? And sales order ID in the table sales order header should be equal to sales order ID in order detail. Okay, guys? So what we are going to do here, we are going to join detail dot sales order ID, sales order ID equals to ord dot sales order ID. Okay. Oops, on, I missed here, on is the condition, and then we can join. But we will have a problem here, okay? You can see we have a red alert. It means that we have the sales order ID in both tables, okay? So when we have on both tables, we have to specify, because SQL Server doesn't know, let's see the error message here. Ambiguous column name. SQL Server doesn't know from which table it should bring the data. So when we have more than one table, we use the alias to identify. We are going to use here or dot, okay? So if we do like this, we already have our information. Perfect. So for organization purposes, I'm gonna use order for all of this one, to identify that I'm bringing the data from orders table. And now we don't have the order detail table yet. So you can see we have many times the same order ID here, the same order, but we don't have the details. So what we are going to do, comma, and use detail dot, let's see, what information can we use from the table details? Let's see, sale order detail ID. Yeah, it can be sale order detail ID is good. What else? Order quantity. Yeah, we need to know order quantity. We need, oh, before it, we need to know the product ID, right? Product ID. Product ID, comma, order quantity, perfect, unit price, oh, comma here, unit price, nice. What else? Unit price discount. And that's it, right? Let's see what we have here until now. Let's select here and execute. And then you can see, guys, that we have product ID, order quantity, perfect. So what do we have here? In this order called 43659, we have order date, right? Customer ID, salesperson, and we are selling, let me see, up to here. We are selling all of these products in this order, right? And now we have one thing. We already have in this table here the line total, that is our total, but we are not going to use the same total as we have in this total, because we have the total and subtotal in a different way. So what we are going to do here, instead of doing the calculations and creating measures and creating calculated columns in Power BI, as I already showed you in different lives, we are going to prepare all of the information here in SQL Server, okay? This is very interesting because is there a rule to use to prepare the data inside SQL Server or in Power BI? There is not a specific rule, but as we have a very powerful database engine that is a SQL Server, I like to prepare the data inside SQL Server and get it ready to be used by Power BI. Okay, if you want to do all of the calculations in Power BI, it's not a problem. Okay, but and sometimes we have to, but what I like to do in this case here to explain to you guys what we can do in SQL, I'm going to create inside SQL Server. Okay, just to remind you that sometimes I like to use this way, sometimes I like to do in Power BI. Perfect. So what we can do here, we can create formulas here. So for example, parentheses, let's multiply order quantity times unit price, and we'll call it as subtotal. Okay, perfect. Let's create another column here that is our order quantity, perfect, times one more parenthesis, unit price minus unit price discount. Okay, so I'm gonna have subtotal and subtotal discount. So subtotal discount. Perfect. Okay, I'm using alias to each column. And what else? Let me see what we can have here. Total price. Yeah, and let's have here the total price with a discount. That is our unit price. Oh, comma, unit price minus unit price discount. Okay, and it can be, yeah, we don't need this column here. We are good. Subtotal, order quantity times price, quantity times price discounted. Okay, I think we are good. Let's try to execute. Great. We have, so for each one of the items, we have, let me see. Oh, here is interesting. We have 6 times this product here, 6 times $5.70. We have $34.20. Okay, we don't have discount. Now I'm gonna test the discount. Okay, so I'm gonna use a where clause here. Let me see, subtotal minus subtotal discount can be taken. Yeah, it can be taken. We can have the discount value. So yeah, we can do like many different things here. So I just want to explain to you guys what we can do. And actually, our limit here is our imagination. So yeah, we can do a lot of things. And here, let's select only where detail.unit price discount is greater than 0. Okay, so you can see here we have 121,000 rows. Okay, now I'm going to select only those items with discount. So we are going to reduce to 3,000 rows. Okay, and what we have here, we have some cents. So let's try this one. Let's use our calculator here. So we have 26 times 4.75, 123.5. Okay, it's working fine here. But now, if we have 26 times 4.65, that is the unit price minus the discount, 120.9. Yeah, it's working fine. Our data is correct. So looks like we have our orders table, right? Now, this where clause we are not going to use, so we don't need it. And now to keep it prepared for our Power BI, what we are going to do here is to create a view. Okay, we don't want to use this select inside Power BI. We can do it, yes, we can, but the best thing to do here is to create this layer, create this data warehouse layer, and get it ready for Power BI in a way that if we need to keep it working or to make some modifications, we don't have to update the select in Power BI. We will only update in our SQL Server, in our database, and then refresh it in Power BI. Okay, so let's use this select here to create our view. We are going to use the create view. The name of the view for organization purposes, I'm going to use the schema name at first, and I already have our data intelligence school schema created. I already created it. Dot our sales, okay, as this select here. Let's see if it works. Are you guys familiar with create view statements? Okay, we created our view, and now we can test it like this. Select star from our data intelligence school dot v our sales. Let's see. Perfect. It's working fine. We can see now. What we have to use in Power BI is only this statement here. We don't have to send the whole select statement to SQL Server. And what happens now? Power BI will ask SQL Server by this statement here, okay? And SQL Server will execute the view and bring the data to Power BI, okay? So before continuing here, let me just connect to Power BI into SQL Server, and you guys can understand what I'm trying to say here. Okay, so here is, guys, just one question. Are you following me? Are we on the same page? Let me know here in the chat, and then I can go back if needed. Perfect. So I'm going to get data here in Power BI. You are already familiar with it. SQL Server database. Let's see. Server. This is our server name. Okay, as I'm using the same computer as Power BI, I'll use localhost. Okay, I will not specify a database, and I'm going to import the data. We already discussed about import or direct query. Okay, let's press OK here. It's connecting to my SQL Server. I have this database here. And now you can see that we have a lot of tables and views. And can you guys imagine like working with all of these? Is a lot, right? This is why we use a different schema. So if I select here, you can see we have our view here, and I'll just load, okay? Just to see the data here. Is Power Query is reading the SQL Server table or view. It's creating the connection, loading data to our model, and then 121 rows loaded. Perfect. Very easy, fast. And here is the data. You can see order date. Let's see. Ta-da! Here is our data. Okay, product ID. And what else? Perfect. Okay, so it's working fine. Let's go back to SQL Server because we have a lot of things to do. SQL Server here. Okay, guys, we created our view or our saves. But now you can see we have some things to do. So, for example, this order date. We have date time column. Okay, we don't need it because we don't have time. They are all zero. What you can do here, we can start using some SQL functions that will help us to improve our column. So, for example, here order date. Okay, we can use cast to format this. We have different ways of format the column. We can use format, we can use convert, we can use cast, So cast as date. And now, if I execute it without alias, you can see the data will be converted, but you can see the date is converted, but I have no column name. It can be like this, okay? So we can say here as order date, okay? Let's not update, let's not modify the column name, because if we modify the column name, we will have problems in Power BI. So if we keep the same column name with a different content, we are good in Power BI, okay? Let's try it. So I did this cast, and I used column alias using the S expression. And you can see that I didn't use it here. So we don't need, we just use it sometimes as organization purposes. So if I let me go back to Power BI here. We have our order date here in this format, okay? And then when I recreate the view, we have create or alter view, okay? When it exists, we use the or alter, and then SQL Server tries to alter. Perfect. And now, if we go back here to Power BI and refresh our data, let's see what will happen. Rows loaded, and then you can see here order date is in a different format. Okay, we didn't have to modify anything. We just refreshed the data. Perfect. So it's working fine. But now we need our product table, right? Where is our product table? Here we have in production, we have product, right? Let's see. Select star from product. Let's see what we have here. Perfect. 504 products. And now You can see here in products, we have our columns. And okay, name, product ID, product number, product ID. Great. What's product number? Oh, this is interesting. We selected from our sales table the product ID. So we are going to relate product ID, product and sales by product ID, right? What we have here, and what else? Standard reorder point. We don't need this information. We don't need, oh, we have product subcategory, and yeah, so this is interesting. When we have product, and let's see, the only thing that we need from the database to a BI environment, do you agree with me that if I replace this star by product ID, comma, product, name, let's see. Do you agree that if we have only product ID and name, we are good to go? We don't need more information than that, right? But we can improve this information. At first, this name here is an expression from SQL Server. So what I like to do is to do like this, product name, okay? We use a different name just to differentiate this, okay? But we do have a product category, and this is interesting because when we have a category and we have a subcategory, we can have more information in our product, right? So what we can do here is to join. Remember, we use join. We can join product, and by using this column here, we can use product subcategory. So let's see here. We have, you can use an alias. Here is prod, okay. We are going to join, remember the join? We are going to join production dot is product subcategory, yeah. Oh, subcategory, okay. Let's use the alias sub, yeah, sub. Okay, and now on, I'm gonna join them by using sub dot product subcategory ID equals to product dot subcategory ID. Perfect. And then let's use, I need to use the alias here because we have name in both tables. This is products, and this is, remember, we have to identify the table where the column is being pulled from. And then subcategory, the only information that we need is the name, okay? Name as subcategory, category. Perfect. Let's see if it's working. Execute. Nice. We have product ID, product name, and subcategory. Great. But from subcategory, we can go to category. So what we have here is product joining with subcategory, and subcategory joining with category. Okay. So let's do another join. We can do as many joins as we want. I'm gonna use here. Oh, just to let you guys know, we don't need to use the brackets, okay? I'm gonna use this just to show you that we don't need it. It's category, product category. We can call it cat. Let's do like this so we can organize. And then I'm gonna relate category, product subcategory, and product category. Okay, so this will be category dot product category ID equals to subcategory. Are you guys following me? By product category ID. Okay, and then comma. Let's use one of the columns is category dot name as category. Great. Let's see if it works. Perfect. We have product name, we have subcategory, and we have category. But here, guys, looks like we have a problem, because if I select, let's check this. If I select start from products, you can see we have 504 rows, right? If I select a product with, if I join category and products, instead of having 504 products, we have only 295. What's going on here? What we can do is to use the left join. When we use left join, it means SQL Server will bring all of the products, okay, all of 504 products, try to join it with a subcategory, but if we don't have the subcategory, it will still keep bringing, pulling the products, okay? So let's see what if our problem is in subcategory. Let's execute. We have 295. So looks like the problem is not with subcategory, but with category. It means that we don't have, like all of our products, they have subcategory. But let me do this. Some of categories, they are not presented. So, we have here left and left. We can use left in both of them, okay? Now we have, what it means is that we have some products without subcategory and without category, okay? So now we have 504 rows. You can see here, we have some of them that they have, some of them they don't have, okay? This is just a thing that we use, and this is interesting because our data model will tell us, hey, is this an issue or not? Can we have products without subcategory and without category? Looks like our model allows it, okay? Sometimes this is an issue in the database, perfect, but we are not worried about it. Okay, we have our product table, and now we are going to create or alter view. What's the name of our view? Is Data Intelligence School, our schema, remember? Dot v, let's call it v our products as select blah 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 blah. Okay, let's create it. Perfect. And now let's go back to our Power BI. We already have our table here. And before importing the products, I'm gonna update one thing. Okay. I'm gonna select the data and then we can update it. So recent data sources, okay, let's use localhost again. Let's see, now we should see our view, our products view here, okay, our products. Let's select it. And now I'm gonna transform it, import, okay. Yeah, we have an error here. Let's refresh. We are good. And we have our products here and we have our sales here, right? Perfect. Let's do one thing here. Let's rename it. We don't need this Data Intelligence School in front of our table. So let's remove it and let's remove it. Okay, perfect, guys. One important thing here, okay, I'll not talk about query folding in this session, but it's very, very, very important. When we are using a database, in this case, we are using SQL Server, we have to choose if we are going to do our ETL, our table transformations in SQL Server or in Power BI, okay? If we do in SQL Server and then start creating steps here inside Power Query to modify our table, our performance will be very, very bad. Okay, so we have to choose it. Okay, if I close and apply, let's see here, we should see the new names. Perfect, we have new names. Let's see the relationships. Great. So Power BI already created our fact table and our product table, our dimension table. Okay. Let's start creating our graphs. Now I see Shaili is asking about this. Yeah, we do have, let's create from scratch. Okay. We don't have any visuals. We have our product table, we have our sales table, and yeah, let's create a matrix, okay, and see our sales. Let's see our subtotal. Wow, 110 million, right? So let me just select one thing here. Our grid will be 16. And what else? Our values, well, values will be 16. Oh, they are already 16. Nice. Okay, we have subtotal, and then let's see by product ID. Oh no, not this. But let's add product ID here as rows, product ID, columns. We have values, perfect. And what else? We can see order dates. Yeah, let's see, order dates. Okay, guys, so what we have here, so we can see our total sales by year. And if we open it, we have by quarter, by month, and day. And inside each day, we have by product, right? No, it's not working fine yet, because this doesn't mean like anything. Like, can you imagine your manager looking at this report here? Is crazy. Okay, what we are going to do, we are going to replace product ID by our product name. Not here, here, our product name. So now you can see we have the days by month, and then we have our products inside here. Okay, perfect. One of the things, I don't like to see the quarter here. So what I can do here is in our order data, I'm gonna remove the quarter only by month. And yeah, we are good. We don't need the day information. So by month, we are good. So you can see we have sales by product, by month, by year. Great. Let's create this, collapse this entire level. Yeah. Okay, guys, we can see here it's working fine. We are getting data from SQL Server. We are good. Let's let me ask a question. Don't you guys think we have something missing here? What do you guys think about using the order date here instead of our calendar dates? The calendar date is, we can create it in SQL Server, you know, and in projects that I work on, and we use cubes, we always create the calendar date inside the database, okay? But in this case, I'm gonna show you how we have a hybrid scenario. And so some tables are coming from the database and some tables are created in the Power BI, okay? So what are you guys familiar with the calendar table? I'm going to create here another table. We are not going to create in SQL Server. Okay, so let's modeling, new table. I'm going to create here date table equals to calendar auto. Okay, in this case, Power BI will get the data from the database, will search for minimum and maximum dates, and will create our calendar date. Oops, I forgot one letter here, date table. Okay, so you can see now we have our dates table. Dates table, come on. Oh, here is our dates table, okay? And we can start creating this column here, this matrix. Let's use the right thing, product date. We have date here, the same thing, but now we have a different values, okay? What we have to do here in relationship, I have to relate the date table with our facts table. That is our date. So drag and drop, create our relationship. And now, guys, what we have here, we have a relationship between a table from SQL Server and a table from Power BI. Okay, how does it work? We are good again. It's working fine. We already have the dates, the values working fine. Oh, I don't like this quarter, and I don't want the day. So here we are again using our dimension calendar table. Okay, guys. So yeah, do you have any questions? And this is interesting because we already have like our star schema is here. We have our facts table here, our dimension product, our dimension table, and then we have our graphs. Let's do like these. Let's duplicate. Oh, before duplicating, let me show you guys here. We just created a simple and very easy dates table. Let me show you this. How do we create our table, a more complex dates table, okay? So we have this code here where I'm using the calendar function, creating the dates from the oldest and the newest dates from our table, but I'm adding columns and I'm creating a lot of different columns here, okay? So we have year, quarter, month name, short, long, so many different columns. Let me just hit enter here, and you can see we have in our here we have our date table with not only the date but all of these different columns here. Okay, let me do like this. Go back. We have our dates table. Let me replace the format here. And you can see it's working fine again. Perfect. Let's see. Oh, here I want to use the hierarchy. Yeah, now we are back again. Let's remove quarter, let's remove day, and yeah, we are good. Okay, perfect. Let's see questions. Can you explain again how we get drill down table? The drill down table is like this, like we are using a matrix. Okay, matrix is this one here. And what I did, I just bring two rows, the column date from the table date, okay? And then the column product name from our products. If we want, let me see, I'll try a different thing here. Let me see. Yeah, we can use subcategory, for example. I just drag and drop here. Okay, Shelly? And then now we have date. You can see the date by year, by month, by year, by month. Inside date, we have the product name, okay? And yeah, okay. We have the subcategory, okay? But the right thing to do here is to move, to reorder here. So we have inside, we have date, year, we have month, we have subcategory, and inside subcategory, we have our products. Here we have only one. Here we have more than one product. Let me increase a little bit. Okay, so this is the way that we do our drill down. And you can see, like I chose to use like this, but let's see, we can have, for example, subcategory. We can replace it and use it as a column. Let's just drag and drop here. And now you can see we have our date, year, month, the product name, and our subcategory as columns. Okay, so here you can see we have our column caps. We have, yeah, so let me close this one. And you can see, okay? Nice. Let's see another question. Mohammed is asking, hi, Alex, I missed one point. If you explain, in class you are refreshing data and data top is graph show. Will you please let me know how this graph is created? Okay, yeah, let's use like this. We created this matrix, but we can create a graph. Like, let's create this. We have, I don't know, maybe this graph here. Okay, this is, let's see, we have our, guys, one thing, I'm not using measures, okay? I'm creating graphs and using the table columns. This is not the right thing to do, but this is just to learning purposes, okay? So let's see, we have subtotal. Okay, we have 110 million. And now let's see, I'm gonna show this by product name. We have our products and a graph here, okay? And what else? I'm gonna use the date. Our year, let me increase a little bit. We have subtotal sales by year. We have, let's go back here, by quarter, by month, by day. Okay? So this is the way that we create graphs. Let me remove the quarter. I don't like to see the quarter. And now we have year and we have month. Obviously, it's not using year and month, just month and day. Okay. Did I answer your question, Shaylee and Mohammed? Great. So guys, what I wanted to show you here is how to create SQLs. Okay, we have all of the SQLs here. We created some simple SQLs. Okay, and what we created here, some views. Perfect. And then we went to Power BI. We connected Power BI to the SQL Server to get the data, and we created tables inside Power BI as a date table. So we are using, in our Power BI, we are using a hybrid from SQL Server and Power BI tables. Okay. If we have, for example, we have a spreadsheet, we just come here get data from a spreadsheet, and then we can join different information. So this is very common, okay? When we have enterprise projects, we have data from the database, and sometimes from more than one database. We have data from spreadsheets, we have data from flat files, we have data from different scenarios. And I want to show you guys, you already saw this, but if you go to the internet, and I'll share with you the same, the link, TopTel ETL article. I wrote this article here, where I explain a scenario coming from, where the data comes from, for example, different data sources, okay? Where is, okay. Some of this store, retail kiosk using one system in Oracle database, and then another one using Salesforce system. The newest kiosk using spreadsheets. So the idea here is to join data from different databases, different data sources, different data formats, and then join into Power BI. In this case, we created a cube, but it's a different one. And you can see we replicated here the same enterprise structure in a very simple structure running in only one computer. Okay, guys, I'll share with you this file here. I'll share with you the scripts that I used to create the views. And yeah, so you can practice in your own structure. Okay, guys, let me stop sharing my screen and let's see. Do you have any more questions for me? Yeah, I'll be happy to answer all of your questions. I already did it, so.
Hey Alex, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, or good night for you, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a quick question on the SQL. I mean, like, can we integrate different data sources, tables into one picture? I mean, like for example, if I'm having a data coming from the Azure and one coming from the Excel and one from the SQL server, I want to integrate all these data sources at one place. How it can be achieved, whether in Power BI or not?
Yeah, we did it. We did something similar. Like we are integrating data from SQL Server running locally, and date table in Power BI. Okay, and then we could have a spreadsheet, for example, and this spreadsheet is stored in the cloud. Okay, in OneDrive or in a SharePoint server, and then we can have. Let's imagine that our SQL Server is running here on my computer, and we have another one, so our fourth data source running in Azure, okay? What we have here, we are going to load data as we did here. We are Power BI will load the data from Azure, from local SQL Server, from spreadsheets, and from Power BI itself. And then we are going to create relationships between the tables, okay? And when we refresh the tables, Power BI will know, hey, this information here, I need to pull it from Azure and pull the data. For example, the customer names from Azure, okay? The sales information from the local database. Imagine we are running in a physical store. Okay, and the dates table from Power BI, and let's see, the regions table from a spreadsheet that is stored in the cloud in a SharePoint server. So Power BI will read all of this different information, and then will inside the PBI file, we'll connect each one of them to create the relationships. And when we create our graphs, when we show our graphs, the data will be the source of the data will be invisible to the users. You got it?
Yep. Thank you, Alex. And one more, yeah, one more question.
Yeah, just one.
Are there
one
any
more
cases?
thing. Sorry, but just one more thing. Let's like we can do this in a different way. Okay, sometimes we, for example, it can be better if we join the information from SQL servers, so from Azure and from our local server inside SQL. Okay, so let's imagine I will link my local database with my Azure database, and then it will be transparent to Power BI. And let's imagine I have, and Power BI will select the data only from the local server, and the local server will pull data from Azure. Okay, so it will depend of your structure and how is your performance on how often do you refresh your data. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. And one more question.
Uh-huh.
Like, are there any cases like a view can be a reason for the performance issue in the Power BI? Are there any such cases?
Sorry, could you repeat, please?
Yeah, I'm asking you that, like, if I created a view, right, in the SQL Server, right? So will a view act as a performance degradation? Will there be any such cases in a view?
Yeah, this is like we are talking about. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, we are talking about importing data. Okay, so we are not using direct query or live connections. So when I created here the connection between Power BI and SQL Server, Power BI imported the data, so pulled all of the data from SQL Server, imported it into a local PBI file, and then I'm working locally. Okay, I'll pull data from the database only when I refresh the information. So this is very interesting. This is why we create, as I explained at the beginning, why we create a data warehouse structure. Okay, it's very rare to use the same database, the same production database to provide data to BI applications. Okay, the risk of creating problems in the database server are giant, actually. So what we do, the not perfect scenario, but the desired scenario, I have let's see, you are using Salesforce or SAP, I don't know, you have your transactional database. What we do, we create another database besides, called data warehouse, and then we have some routines that they update the data from the transactional database to the data warehouse, like once per hour or once per day sometimes, and then we connect our BI applications into the data warehouse. Okay, and we avoid to use live connection or direct query. We only do this if they are really necessary, and we just connect one or two tables, and because the chances of getting problem are big. Did I answer your question?
Okay, and one. Yes. And one more quick last question. I don't want to go further. In performance point of view, what we should go for, either for a view or for a stored procedure?
Okay, imagine this. The answer is it depends. It depends because, like, what is the result? Yeah, you can use the same code to you can return a table from a stored procedure or from a view. Okay, As far as I know, and I already worked with SQL Server, with and Oracle databases more often. When we create a view, we have better performance, okay? But this is not a rule, okay? When we have, sometimes what we do is to create materialized views, and then we have to refresh it when we have like a very bad performance. Let me tell you this. I was working with a table with, now it's with 1.6 billion rows, I think. It was 1.2 billion rows. And man, it was terrible to work with this table. Each refresh was crazy and was killing the database. And then what we did, we created some partitions. We created some materialized views with indexes, only to be ready to do the refresh in our BI applications. So in this case, like, and then I can tell you, do I recommend using materialized views? No, I don't. But in this case, we had to do. So it always depends. What I can tell you is that you can create a procedure, and you can create, you should create a procedure, you should create a view and compare the performance. And based on that, you can choose what to use.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Thank you.
You're welcome. And one thing that I explained earlier, guys, when you choose to use databases and connect Power BI into a database, please avoid doing ETL in Power BI. Okay, like remember I showed you we have the date in a date time format. It's very easy to update it in Power BI. But we are, and then we have this query folding thing. So it's better to prepare the data, all of the data in the database. We have a very powerful engine to work with this data, and the data is prepared and is ready to Power BI only load, only import this data, and is ready to use. Okay, so let's, if you have SQL knowledge and you have access to the database, please try to use the database instead of ETL in Power BI. And because when we are talking about like 100,000 rows, 1 million rows, 10 million rows, it's okay. But when we are talking about hundreds of millions of rows from different tables, and sometimes we have billions of rows, then performance is very, very important. Okay, guys. Yeah, if we don't have more questions, let me see. No, and we don't. Yeah. Thank you very much for attending this lesson. I love to talk about technology, databases, Power BI, BI data warehouse, and all of the things. And yeah, you already know, send me a message on Instagram at Data Intelligence School, and I'll share with you my all the files that I used in this session in 24 hours. Okay, perfect. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll enjoy the rest of my day here in California.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you, Alex.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Alex.